Hi everybody, Karen Rao Carter here. It's time for Feng Shui Stories. This is where you can learn Feng Shui tips from hearing some of the stories of my clients, what we've done to their home, and hopefully you can translate that to something going on in your house to alleviate some issue that you don't want to have in your life anymore. All right, so this story is from a client who is complaining of he was kind of like white knuckling through the getting clean aspect of life. He says there's not 15 minutes of the day that goes by without him thinking about using or doing drugs or alcohol or whatever. And he also was getting ready to lose custody of his daughter. And he asked me to come over. He says, I'll do anything. I just need you to help me with these two things. There's nothing too big or too small. Ask me. I can help, okay? So I said, well, I'm not interested in fooling the county, that's going to come over and check out the house to make sure it's safe for your daughter. But I am interested in helping you change your life for the better. And so he's like, absolutely. I said, I had to be clear about that. It's not like, putting up a fake little house here that looks all perfect like Mayberry RFD when, if he's not willing to walk the talk. Okay. So he gave me a big wad of cash. He goes, I'm leaving town. Go do whatever you want to do. And I'm like, that's not how I normally work. But in this case, I will do it just because I want to give you that big reveal and have you just suddenly feel the difference, not slowly make the change. I just want you to just come in and feel the impact of the difference of the before and after, because his befores included, there were gargoyles outside the house. It looked like it was just such a nondescript subdivision, but there's his house and everybody's like, what's with that house over there, right? You always know that house. It's like, why are there gargoyles? It's not Halloween. What's going on? You walked inside, there were like swords on the wall. There was an electric chair over in the corner. Yes. There were just all kinds of weapons and just items of destruction, violence and destruction, cigarettes in art, real cigarette, like a movie prop. He had a shadow box of, I think it was the Pulp Fiction cigarette of one of the characters or something like that. Like Al Pacino's gun in another movie. I mean, he had cool stuff, totally not working for him. Anytime I see skull and crossbones or skeletons, if it's not, Dia de Morte or whatever, the Latin culture, mostly skeletons, skull and crossbones, I would say, are pretty much, and of course cigarettes and alcohol and things like that. Also symbols of like the Rat Pack, James Dean, Marilyn Monroe. I'm even going to throw Princess Diana in here. Anybody that had an unusually early departure, or somebody that that died of some sort of overdose or whatever, the Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain kind of thing. So make sure you get those out of your house if you're struggling with addiction. I'm also going to throw in right now before I forget, I do have a sleeping tips with Feng Shui video somewhere in my feed. Look up sleeping tips, because I have noticed the inability to have a good night's sleep. Sleep deprivation does cause, like symptoms of, I'm going to throw it out there, alcoholism. So be mindful of that. Check out my sleeping tips video if you're struggling with that. Okay, so back to this guy's story. So I'm looking at the house. Everything of art and just all the symbols were just so violent and so destructive. So I'm like, yeah, you go, because I'm gonna be taking all this stuff out, and I want you to come back and feel the hit of love and happiness in a house. He goes, I really want that. He goes, I just don't know how to do it. I'm like, okay. Most of the furniture was made with, what's that nubby stuff that in the back of a truck bed that the tools are in, that metal that has the bumps in it. Like his coffee table, his end tables, everything was just hard and, no softness, no warmth. And this 9-year-old daughter is living here. And her bedroom, by the way, had was decorated with the Playboy bunny symbol and the mud flap babe girls. You know, that pointy boob girl on the back of semis mud flaps. I'm like, oh my God. So she didn't even really have girly or appropriate, age appropriate symbols. So thus the county is about to come over and check it out. All right, so I toured into this house. It took me 7 days of really redoing this whole house. We painted it, space cleared it, got rid of all the negative symbols, put in healthy symbols, furniture that made sense. Oh my gosh, you know, I just really wanted to concentrate on the symbols in this video. There's so much, this story goes on and on and on and on. But be looking at the symbols. Do you have alcohol in the symbols of your art? You know, there's a lot of champagnes popping and wine and cigar smoking and cigarette girl. I mean, I've seen so many pieces of art that have cigarettes and alcohol in them. And if you struggle with addiction, really get that out of your house. All right, so that's the feng shui tip for that. Go to the sleeping tip video too, by the way, and that might be helpful as well. Long story short, he came back and he literally cried. He was like, oh my God, thank you so much. He was so grateful. And I called him about 6 weeks later and I said, I just want to follow up. You know, that was such a drastic change. It's not normally how I do feng shui consultations, kind of the makeover, you know, makeover show style, ambush makeover show style. And I said, how is life? And he goes, he literally stopped and he goes, you know what? I haven't thought about using drugs or alcohol since. He had to think about it. He was like, wait a minute, I remember you told me there wasn't 15 minutes that goes by. And he said, I haven't thought about it since I've come home. Like, I took away all the thoughts of alcohol, drugs, destruction, self-harm, bondage. I mean, you know, there was a lot of stuff in there. So, you know, he was proof that in 6 weeks, things massively changed for him. So hopefully that's good ammunition, joke aside there, for you to take into your home, look around, remove anything, like little earrings. I even find little skull earrings. I'm like, no. The young boys with skulls and whatever on their shirts and shoes, no. You know, I dig deep with this kind of stuff. Look for that symbolism in your house and get rid of it, and you know, clean up the addictions. All right. Good luck, and I hope this has been helpful.